Hi, Fidel here. Today I just want to talk about the narrow window of perfection with pizza. And that's not to say that I have mastered perfection, but I've realized with every stage of making Neapolitan pizza, there is this narrow window that you're trying to get into for each stage that is going towards perfection. And it starts with the dough, right? So with the dough, you're looking for this perfect balance between the hydration, how much yeast you're using, and the climate that you're dealing with, and then putting all that together to match, right? So if you're dealing with really hot climate, obviously you don't want to use too much yeast. So there's this, you're looking for this narrow sliver to find that perfection. And where is that? What is too much yeast? Because you can easily put too much yeast, and but you don't want to do that. And if you don't put enough yeast, you won't get anything, and it'll be just total disaster, right? So that's the first part. There's a narrow window of to find that perfection. The next is like timing. If you're going to make pizza on Saturday, you can make pizza anywhere from 24 hours early to even 72 hours early, or maybe even more if you've learned how to balance how much yeast it's going to take to, I'm going to just make up a word, to kind of perfectly bloom on that Saturday afternoon that you're having a pizza party. Okay, so that's another window that you're always constantly trying to find with the dough. Still with the dough, what I found is there is the best product of dough is like when the dough is almost unmanageable, right? So it's if you were to leave it for maybe 5 more hours, it would be just completely collapsed or unmanageable, would break apart. The dough would be just unusable. But just before that will turn out some of the best pies. I don't know where I am with this. This is a little over 24 hours dough. It looks pretty good. It doesn't seem like it's at that at the edge of the beginning of the window, but it's pretty good. It's pretty close. So I'm going to talk while making a pizza for you. I'm going to talk about other narrow things. So these and all of these take a commitment. So once you put that stuff in the dough, once you've decided the timing, there's no going back. I mean, you've made a commitment, and you're gonna have to deal with that product, the end product, no matter what. So another thing is when you're dealing with pizza is these other things you're trying to deal with for perfection. Because it is very difficult to always come up with something perfect, right? So here's another stage where you have to make a commitment, right? So you have dough that's a bit too sticky, it's a bit too soft, but it's too late, right? But this, I actually like this. This is actually right. I think I'm gonna impress myself. I think this is gonna be right in the stage of its development to give me exactly what I need. So it's not gonna need much stretching out. So as you can see, I got some bubbles here. Just pop some of those big ones. Actually, I'm gonna move this over here for topping. Let's see, just a little bit. So another thing you're dealing with, these narrow windows to find perfection, is your oven. Your oven has to be up to temperature at the exact moment you need it. So if you've prepared your pizza and you throw it in and your oven isn't hot enough, well, it's too late. You've made that commitment and it is too late. Okay, so I think we're doing pretty good here. I've just set that up with a few pieces of wood. Put a little more tomato on this. And once you start topping, that's it. There's no going back. So I'm gonna put some basil first. Put some cheese, fresh mozzarella. So right now, once you start topping, you're on the clock basically, because the longer it sits here, that little bit of flour that's underneath it is going to stick. And if you put too much flour, it's just gonna give off this really bitter taste in your mouth and the bottom. So that's another thing. That's that narrow window of perfection. You're looking for just enough flour so it doesn't stick, but not enough to turn it bitter on the bottom. So we've made that commitment here, and if it doesn't come off, we've let it go too long. Okay, so we're looking pretty good here. And into the oven we go. Quite possibly this oven, this is the first pizza of the day for this oven, so quite possibly it might not be hot enough on the floor. I'm not sure, but we're gonna deal with it, because like I said, once you make a commitment, that's it. You commit to your dough formulation on with this. You know, as soon as you put all those ingredients together, you're committed. And on Saturday, on your pizza party, that's the pizza you're eating. And as I said, once you pull that dough out of the box, start working on it and topping it, you're committed. There's no going back. If you mess it up, you mess it up. And you really can't just reball it and use it right away. You could reball it and maybe try to use it several hours later, but it's definitely not going to give you the same results. So yeah, I can say that the bottom of the oven wasn't quite hot enough for this, but it's just another example of making the commitment. I committed to put this in, and I did. But I think the next couple of pizzas, this oven's going to be pretty hot. So, but for now, I think still going to be a pretty good pizza. Absolutely. I'll probably even move it to a hotter spot to finish. And sometimes your floor is too hot. In some cases, when the floor of your oven is way too hot, you can always finish off your pizza like this, so it's not touching the floor. But yeah, we're okay with this. I think I'm gonna let that be the first pizza for today. So it didn't get much. This pizza didn't get much leoparding. So that's what we're looking for. See, again, I made a commitment, and this pizza is not, I wouldn't say it's perfect. It's pretty good, but it's not perfect. So we'll come back in the same video in a moment with a second pizza, and we'll see if we can get closer to what I want. Okay, we're gonna go for the second pizza here. I like the dough. It seems to be holding up. Ooh, here we go, talking about commitments again. I forgot to loosen that side. Let's see, let's loosen that a little bit better. Okay, there we go. Okay. The thing is, don't be afraid of your dough. Just trust your work. You can do it. Turn all that excess flour off. Just a little bit for the surface here. Okay. We are going to be making something like a carbonara pizza. It's what my eldest daughter likes because for some reason she's not a traditional pizza fan, but she likes this one. I wonder if she wants onions or no onions. Okay, you heard that at home. It's 2 eggs on this. I've sometimes had this pizza oven up to near 1,000 degrees and had 45-second pies coming out. Usually if I let this preheat for about 40 minutes, it's blazing hot. I think this one was only preheated for about 30 minutes, but it's pretty hot in there. It's gonna be just fine. In usual cases, you worry more about the floor than the upper heat, but yeah, it seems to be balanced. Okay, so it seems to be getting a bit of leoparding, so just let that go. Can you get lower and see the flame rolling over it? You would think the egg would get hard boiled, but no, it doesn't really. In a short time in there, it doesn't get hard boiled at all. Okay, and that one's finished. So the cook time's a little bit longer than I want. So again, this is the second pizza today. Let's see if the third one will be even shorter time. I usually don't mind cooking a few earlier because that helps me gauge the temperature of the oven. I can generally tell that, oh, okay, it's hot enough, but when you put in a pizza, you can tell right away, oh, okay, it's not quite hot enough. But again, you're making a commitment to that pizza. Once it's in the oven, it's in the oven. Okay. And we'll make one more after this. Okay, third pizza coming up. Let's see if we can deal with the corner ones here. Okay. Just work on it from here. Okay. Okay, about now I'm gonna ramp up my fire here. So fire looks good anyway, but I want this to be a little extra hot. So fire going. Cheese. Some cheese there. Okay. Onions. These are called Japanese new onions, which just means that they're the onions in spring and they're really sweet. They lack the bitterness of normal onions and the spiciness. They don't really have that bite. Ooh, I'm in danger of overtopping this guy. Let's see what we can do. Well, we've made a commitment. What are we gonna do? Okay, well, let's do it. Ooh, we made it. Okay. She looks good already right there. Okay. Okay. Okay, this right here. Oh, stuff here. Excuse me. Let's see it. It's actually looking pretty good. Okay. So now we can see that the oven's pretty hot. Yeah, see, this dough, I think, is nearly perfect. I think I underestimated the look of it, because it actually is nearly perfect. The dough and the fire for this particular pie, I think everything came together. This looks really good. So It's going to be incredibly tender. We'll take a closer look at it here. Okay, so it should have a crackle. Yeah. That's what you're looking for. There's a lot of moisture in there. This is a 66% hydration. I lower the hydration when it starts to get warmer, and I don't. The higher hydrations tend to droop a lot more, and I need just a little bit more strength. But all in all, I think that's a pretty good pizza. So that's it, and I'm just again a recap. Remember, everything is just about making a commitment. Keep a notebook about what's working and what doesn't work, because you're always constantly trying to dial in that window of opportunity where everything should come together. If you get the timing right with your dough, the amounts of yeast just right, and you match that up with the day that you're using it, and you let the dough balls rise just enough, but not too much, right? Everything, when it all comes together with a perfectly heated oven, when it all comes together, it's just like magic. And that's what pizza is all about, and especially Neapolitan pizza. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.